to our inaugural podcast. So inaugural, I don't know what we're doing, but we'll roll with it.
That sounds good to me.
We're making it up as we go.
Okay.
So, but you have a great website. What is it called?
It's called Postcards and Authors.
And what got you started in that?
Well, I've always liked reading, and therefore I like authors, people who write such wonderful things.
Yeah.
And I was a postcard collector a long time ago. I always liked communicating with my friends when I was a kid, writing letters, and we'd send each other postcards, and somehow the two came together.
Yeah.
I also read blogs, and so with the blog, the postcards, and the authors, somehow it all came together as an aha moment. And
When did you have this aha moment?
probably a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it took longer to, I'm sure you can relate when you have your aha moment as an author and you get ideas and you begin to put it together and you think, oh, it's going to just work out. and it doesn't. And so there's a whole bunch of hurdles to be climbed to get the website built. I had to go through a couple of, I tried, and then I went to a web builder, and then I finally got the web builder that I wanted. So it was about a year of actually, after the idea of actually getting it up and running.
Oh, okay. And who were among your first participants? I think I was one of your early ones.
You were one, and Jay Cannon was one, and I had Stacy Hawkins Adams.
Okay.
I'm sure you
Yeah,
probably, she's done like 9 or 10 fiction novels as a local author. I had Chris Spisak. So I was really thankful to get all of you to supply me with content.
Now, how beyond ourselves, how are you getting your word out about your website? How are you getting people to mail you in postcards?
I am actually, and I guess I probably should tell the audience that, is the website is, when you go to it, you'll see a series of beautiful postcards, and so it's very visual. And under the postcards, there is a bio of the author and maybe a mini synopsis about you and your work. And I actually do cold calls. I mean, some of the people, yes, I do. I just, I have one person, her name is Karen Rinaldi, and she is the editor, or I can't think of her title, but anyway, the way up there person at Harper Wade, which is an imprint of HarperCollins.
Oh, cool.
And I heard her on a podcast, Mitch Albom, author Mitch Albom. So she was on this podcast, and I liked what she was saying, and I just wrote her a letter, and I told her about my website. I'd like to feature her, and I said the niche is you send me a postcard, write whatever you'd like. I put it on my website, and then I write about you, just very little. It's not a review of anyone's books, because of course I haven't read everyone's books.
Right.
And so a lot of them have been that way. I found that people are very responsive and think it's a pretty cool idea.
It is a great idea.
Yeah.
And how do you share beyond the website itself? How do you share with your audience? Do you have a newsletter? Do you have social media? How do you get the latest postcards out?
I would say Instagram and Facebook. I have an Instagram at Postcards and Authors, and Facebook page, the same name, Postcards and Authors. And I have a Twitter. Twitter I'm not doing all that well at. It's Anita _ postcards. But anyway, so on all these social media forums, I just say I put a new postcard on the website. Go check it out, and of course I'll add a link to take you to that space.
And what else is on the site?
That's basically all that's on the site. Is just totally postcards, but it's different pages. Like there is a page called the author page, so it's really like a cross reference. So if you, for instance, when there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of postcards, when I get to that point, and I want to find your postcard. So maybe you sent your postcard 2 years ago. The person wouldn't have to just scroll and scroll and scroll. You go to the author page, look up your name, they click on your name, and then all of your postcards will appear.
Great.
So, and of course, there's a bio page on me. And
sure. And talk about yourself. What's your background?
Gosh. Well, back in the day, I was a computer programmer. That was my profession, and that's probably why I'm not exactly not intimidated by technology.
Right.
And I love technology. I love. I attempted to build a blog, but once I wanted all these different features, the cross-reference page. I found that, that's going to be too much, and when I began to add to it and come up with other ideas, I thought it would be too much. I'd be spending so much of my time technically instead of trying to get content on the website. So because I have that background, that computer background, it worked out, and I can.
And I see you brought postcards. What are some of these your favorites?
Yes, they are, and
I don't know if we'll go through all of them.
No, that's a lot. But, well, this one is from a guy in Kentucky, and he says he's working on his 4th novel, and he says he writes 2 books per year.
Wow,
and
good for him.
He uses his fingers to type.
Oh.
His name is James Market. And then I've had postcards to come the furthest away. Well, I had one from a book club in Australia.
Oh wow, cool.
And I have one, I probably can't find it because there's so many here, but this one is from a local author. His name is James K. Walker, and he writes his trilogy, I think is Sweet Wine of Youth, but he writes about World War I. And so, and then you have postcards that are
cool. Different
shaped
shape there.
differently.
Nice. Okay.
And then you have postcards that are the pictures of people's books, which I don't know if I brought one, but this one was pretty interesting. This is a Virginia author. She was at the James River Writers Club, and she, her name is T. Marie Vandely, and her book is called Theme Music. But she took this Virginia's for Lovers and crossed out lovers and wrote thrillers.
Oh, cool.
So, and I think there's one more. Cadwell Turnbull, and actually Jay Cannon sort of kind of introduced him to me on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
So yeah, I got a whole lot of them.
Well, thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
What's next for you? What's your next project?
My next project, this one is still in its baby stage. I sort of feel I really need to increase my readership, and so it would be nice to do some freelance writing. I did write one piece for Streetlight magazine, which is an online magazine. Erica Raskin is one of the facilitators of that website, and invited me to write a piece, and I did. And I think if I do some freelance writing, I can get my website name out there. And I continue to work with the other social media, the Instagram. You should visit my Instagram page. I photograph books. It's really cool.
Right.
It's such a stress buster.
You're like was that Bookstagrammer?
Yeah, I'm a Bookstagrammer, and it's so many Bookstagrammers out there that the market is just saturated, and people are really surprised at how many people do that.
Oh, great.
But we're a tribe.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much sticking with this, and really just trying to build it and introduce people to it. And then if anyone has any ideas or any suggestions, my email is on the website. They can feel free to contact me and make suggestions, or if they want to be featured, they can talk to me about being featured.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, when you read books, do you mark them up at all? The physical kind? Do you highlight? Do you jot a note?
Oh, my personal reading? No.
Leave it pristine.
I did that for the first time about a month ago, and I felt so weird doing that. But no, I'm tend to not be one who marks up books, and I get books from different sources. Library, I buy some.
Right, don't
some
mark up
are hard. Oh no, some are hardcover, softcover, and then I've gotten into audio.
Okay. Yeah,
really,
much harder to mark up.
Yes, they're very hard to mark up.
Ones you shouldn't and ones you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been fun.
And also plug your website again. What's the address?
It's called Postcards and Authors. No,
Spaces.
just no spaces. Just postcardsandauthors.com.
Oh, great. Check it out.
Okay, please do.
Thank you for joining.
You're welcome.